think you're overdue an episode 9 on the path of power. And if I'm honest, I've been thinking about making this video for about a week, and it's probably not going to be as satisfactory as I'd like it to be, but I have to try and, I don't know, address some things that have been bumps on my path. I mean, in some ways I've kind of made the Path of Power playlist a kind of diary of my journey of late, and trying to keep it neutral without bringing aspects of my faith into the Path of Power, when it's actually quite an important part of it. Mainly because the power aspect of the path, I think, is available to anyone, whatever your beliefs. So I've tried to keep that neutral so that you can, if you watch these videos, apply your belief system to the Path of Power. I mean, probably the hardest part to talk about in this video, having had sort of some recent episodes where negative energy has been harassing, shall we say, or I've sort of stopped it, and really sort of reached a point where I told it no. I mean, this is Sunday morning of, whatever. Last weekend, on the Saturday night, I let negative energy just latch onto me. And it was a conscious decision because of things that I was struggling to deal with. And I don't know, in a episode of, I don't know, self-doubt or questioning myself and trying to uphold some ideals that I had set myself, it seemed like it was a position I was holding for no reason. So I made the mistake, because that's all it can be, really, is a mistake to allow negative energy to latch onto you, so that I could indulge in suffering, I think. There's not a better way to put it. Negative energy is not a good thing. I mean, this is where I'm going to skip into bringing in aspects of my faith in this conversation or this video, because in my belief system, and I'm learning and adjusting and looking rightly or wrongly to make things come together so they make sense, but my name for negative energy is they are Jotun. Now, obviously, Norse paganism is not everyone's cup of tea, or you might think it's just that it is just mythology, and I'm not going to argue with you or say you can agree or disagree with me on this. But my personal belief is negative energy, they are the Jotun. They are not as popularly believed frost giants. That's not quite the translation, because they are devourers, and my personal belief is that negative energy devours what you give it, and they latch on and they feed from you, and they want you to continue to suffer so that they can continue to feed from you. And part of my belief system, or my beliefs are that too many people are feeding Jotun and aren't even aware of it, or aren't even capable of protecting themselves. And that's why I feel compelled to do this series, or this playlist, and hope that some people, if it helps a few people, it helps a few people. And that's me doing something that I consider worthwhile in the fight. I mean, let's say, not everyone's belief system. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about negative or dark energies that put themselves into some alternate faiths, or not faiths at all. I think it's something that you can put into any faith system, or if you're an atheist and believe in psychic abilities. I mean, we are powerful. We have the ability to do tremendous things, and some of those things science doesn't have answers for. And this is one of them. I'm going off course slightly, so I'm going to come back to sort of my making this a diary entry, if you like. So I made the mistake of, especially after the last few weeks, where it's just like proved to myself that I can stop them, and I went through the effort of reinforcing the defences around the house, their home, cleansing it, and things were good. But obviously there was a situation, and I pretty much invited it in, really, and let it latch on, and went through a few days of being a miserable bastard. Which wasn't very pleasant. And then sort of Wednesday, I made the decision that I needed to do something about it, and in a moment of being able to check myself, I got rid of it. I was driving back from Broadstairs, and I just had that moment of clarity, and went, enough's enough, and rejected it, kicked it off, and felt immensely better for having sort of reached that decision. And I don't know, also probably having processed logically that while I'm entitled to feel a little bit low about things going on, that one, I've not done anything wrong. I'm adhering to my code, my beliefs, and the hardest thing is trying not to let someone I love dearly suffer for it. And having made that oath, I don't want to go back on it, even though it's, particularly at the moment, it's quite difficult to not feel doubt about the situation. But I've been able to sort of galvanise myself and cleanse myself, and while there was a little bit of, I don't know, almost felt like there was sort of just a lingering connection even after rejecting the dark energy, the negative energy, the Jotun. I've taken the steps in the last few days just to, I don't know, deal with those little, I don't want to call them anchors, but that sort of shadow of connection. Because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to wallow in depression and sadness for something that's weighing on me. I've got to be bigger than that. I've got to be better than that. And some of the things that have helped me get through that have been my faith. It's with every day that passes, I understand more and more that there are times you have to be alone. You have to do something because no one else is going to do it for you. And this helps me not be sort of right connected to Odin, but that there's a connection of sorts that I can understand some of Odin's ways of thinking and why he has done things the way he has or will continue to, because I don't think that there's anyone else among the Aesir other than Odin who understands that there's some things you've got to do for yourself. And don't get me wrong, there are times that and you read things in the Poetic Edda, for example, that while Odin might have the answer already, he will still converse with his wife, Frigg, or he has to test himself, prove himself, not to anyone else, but to himself. And I can appreciate that. I am never going to be arrogant enough to say I understand Odin. I don't want to. I want to follow in his path. After all, it's most of the things about this channel now are because he made himself known to me in a subtle kind of way, and I've had to respond to that, and I've had to sort of adjust but not adjust my life to that, because I'm still trying to understand it, but I can't help but feel that when Odin did this, when he let me know that he noticed me, it was because for the most part I might have personal doubts about things, but I've still got the courage to do things and to push ahead and to do the best that I can, being the person I am. And that I haven't had to change myself. I think maybe it's just like I don't need to, I don't know, I don't want to say lie, I don't need to sell myself short. I suppose that's the phrase. I don't need to sell myself short because of how I think other people might view me. I've spent probably a lot of time being more tactful than I should be with some people, or tolerating things that shouldn't be tolerated. I don't know. It's more of a intense, probably philosophical debate about sort of what you should do, what you shouldn't do. At the end of the day, no one should have to put up with anyone else's shit. I mean, yeah, yeah. So, without going on too much and it being a crazy waffle of, I don't know, crap, yeah, I made a mistake. And I think it's important to have something like this in this playlist because these are dangerous things. There are things that want to drag you down, and you give them the opportunity, they're going to do it. And even you might feel, let's say in this instance, I let it happen. And I hate myself for it. Well, I'm not going to kick myself about it because it's just I've done something about it. And I'm going to continue to, I don't know, take up this fight, as it were. I'd say a few weeks ago I was making the videos and said sort of as that I'm not going to stop making these videos. That I've drawn attention to myself so that the Jotun, I don't know, I've probably taken a little bit more notice than I could do with. But then you have to accept that when you're taking a stand or trying to bring a message that for some people might be really helpful and undermine negative energies, there are things that are going to try and stop you. And I've got to be prepared to do that. And if, let's say, I'm at a point where I can stop them, I know I can stop them. But now it's almost seems like they're working around the defences and trying to get underneath the armour in alternate ways. And say I've slipped, I've let that happen. But now I've recognised what I need to deal with, what I'm dealing with, and that I have to do. I can't stop. I have to continue sort of maintaining my position and being as positive as I can so that, say, if I can help just a few people change some aspects of their life or deal with negative energy, deal with these Jotun that are feeding off your lack of self-belief or making you wallow in depression so that they can feed off of you, then I've got to try and hope that, let's say, the message gets across. And if you can be set on your path to help yourself by watching some of these videos, then that's a good thing. Because I think more and more people are vulnerable without understanding or wanting to understand, and it's easy to poo-poo, and that it's okay. We also will make mistakes. As I've said way back in, I think, the first episode, it's just like these kind of things are not 100%. Science expects it to be 100%. People who want to challenge it want it to be 100%. But just like any other skill or ability, it's never 100%. So go back to the David Beckham situation as a master of free kicks. He didn't always get the free kick right, but he's still considered a master of free kicks. And your energy, your aura, your power, you're not always going to get it right. You're going to have off days. It's how you deal with them and get yourself sorted. That's the most important thing. It's okay to slip up if you deal with it yourself. Okay, you might need someone to help you. It's okay to ask for help. Ultimately, take from what I'm learning from Odin, you have to ultimately help yourself. You are the one person that you can rely on. And it's hard sometimes, but you can do it. You just got to make sure you got the right weapons and armour and support. And it can happen. You can make it happen. Even if you've slipped up, it's okay. You can deal with it, accept it, learn from it, move on, and don't make the mistake again. Which is, I think the valuable lesson about the admission in this video and dealing with it. So no one's perfect, unless you're, not even all of them are perfect. I don't know. I wouldn't like to say that too loud or put any doubts, but I think in the stories there are mistakes that are made. But you deal with it, you get on, and yeah. Well, I think that's about it. I don't want to hold on to you any longer. Your path is your path, and how you work it is how you choose to work it. Be safe and do what is best for you, as I am doing what is best for me. Thank you very much.